Hello, everyone. It's been a while. I have just started getting into the Lord of the Rings TCG. I'm still in the early stages of my interest in the game and the collectible, and so I thought this would be a good opportunity to walk you through some of the first few things that I bought, why I bought them, and open some of this stuff together, which is exciting. I'm super excited to open it, actually. So I'm at the stage in the process where I'm still learning about the different sets that the game had and the values of the different things. I'm also learning how to play the game because I think it would be fun, and also as a collector it'd be helpful to know to help gauge values. This is sort of the same process I engaged in for Magic the Gathering years ago, and then Pokemon when I got back into it, and then Legos when I got back into that, and then the Star Wars CCG, and then Young Jedi CCG. So I guess you can see the pattern here that these things I've been interested in, I guess, get a little bit more obscure, and this game perhaps is even more obscure than the Star Wars CCG, but it was created by the same company. I don't know if you can see the logo. Where is it? New Line Cinema is the company that did the movies, but Decipher, over here, is the name of the company that created the game, same as the Star Wars CCG. I'm a big fan of that company, even though it doesn't really exist anymore. At least they're not making anything new. All these quote-unquote dead card games of theirs, I think, have a lot of potential. So part of what attracted me to this is the gameplay, because I was learning about how to play both from an old Scry magazine that I got, and then from the Wikipedia page, and now the Facebook group as well. Sort of gone all in on this. But I thought we could open one of the starter decks and talk a little bit about how the game works. So we're going to start with the Saramon starter deck. I love Saramon. That scene where Saramon fights Gandalf, like, blew my mind as an 11-year-old, I guess I was, in the first, 30 minutes of the movie. I remember reading the books before watching the movies, because actually the movies were rated PG-13, and my parents said that if I wanted to see them, I could, but at first I had to read all the books. So I read all the Lord of the Rings books, and if my memory serves me, the whole confrontation between Gandalf and Saruman doesn't happen until much later in the book, but in the movie they just give it to you in the first 30 minutes. It was amazing. And Gandalf is like, when did Saruman the Wise give up reason for madness? Psh, psh. Okay, so we'll open up this starter deck that has Saruman in it, and talk a little bit about the game. So my understanding of the gameplay is very innovative and unique in a sense, where every deck is both good guys and bad guys. The companions are the good guys, the minions are the bad guys, and you control both. And so does your opponent. And apparently you can play multiplayer with lots of people. So everyone is doing both. And it's basically like a race to get the ring to Mount Doom and drop it in the mountain. So your good guys are trying to do that. Their good guys are trying to do that. Your bad guys are trying to disrupt their fellowship of the ring. And their bad guys are trying to disrupt your fellowship of the ring. So whoever gets there first, I think, wins the game, if I understand correctly. Which is so weird, because thematically it doesn't quite make sense. It's like there's multiple competing fellowships, and they each have the one ring, and they're each trying to do this, and you're each trying to stop each other. Which is why I like it so much, because I don't think that any other game that's been based off of an IP has taken such a weird approach to the theme. And I don't think that if a game like this were ever created again, or at least more was created out of the Lord of the Rings IP, that it would work the same way. At least is my thought behind this. All right. Oh, the other thing that seems really innovative is the resource system. So when it's your turn to be the good guys, you kind of have unlimited resources, but every resource that you use to play one of your good characters gives your opponent resources to then play more bad guys to disrupt them. So I think there's kind of two main strategies. You can either go light and play a lot of weak, cheap good guys, so then your opponent can't do much to disrupt you, or you can go all in, but then your opponent, play really good characters, but then your opponent will be able to do that also. What's interesting about these starter decks is they have 60 cards in a rulebook, but also 3 random rare cards from the set. So this is the Black Rider set, which I'll talk more about in a minute, because there's some interesting things about it. But you can see here on the cards, so I think this is one of the fixed cards that comes in the starter deck, because it has an S. So 12 is the set number, S, and then it's the 144th card in the set. This one, I assume, also is a starter deck card, the one ring that you need for your deck, starter deck card. So part of why I was interested in this also is the art. I just think that all these games that Decipher designs are so good looking. The Star Wars CCG, in my opinion, is the best looking Star Wars card game ever. I've heard this is the same for Lord of the Rings. I've seen some of the pictures online, but actually didn't want to look at too many to sort of spoil it. I'd seen enough to know that this would look very visual appealing to me, but I didn't want to look at too many pictures to spoil the experience of seeing these cards myself for the first time. Speaking of Decipher, I love almost everything that they've produced, and so I even bought these boxes of Wars TCG, which is a game they created with original IP. It's only 2 sets. This set is the expansion. This is the original set. These boxes were like $20, and I haven't opened them yet, but I've opened up some of the starter decks and actually learned how to play, or started learning how to play with my wife. It's very similar in the gameplay to the Star Wars CCG, but with their own IP. What's interesting about this IP is that it predated the book series and now the TV show called The Expanse, that has like such a similar plot. It was totally made up by this company. So I don't think I think that's just a coincidence. But anyway, I like Decipher so much, I'm buying these games no one's heard of based on no IP. But this one is based on a very popular IP. Focus. So in addition to the fixed cards in the thing, I think it also has 3 random rares. Let's see if we can find this. Maybe they're at the end. Yes, so this one has an R. Let's focus. So set 12, rare number 170 something. This looks like one of the Nazgul, one of the ring wraiths. This one, a possession, Faramir's sword. And this one, Cave Troll's hammer. I guess not super exciting, but kind of cool. This looks awesome. So I think this is a more cost-effective way to get rares than opening packs. Because, for example, each of these starter decks I got cost $6 from Hills Wholesale Gaming. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But the packs from this set, Black Rider, I think are a little bit more than that, probably average like $3 or $4 a pack if you're to get them individually. So this is like, essentially comes out to equivalent of $2 a pack. If you're just talking about 3s, plus you get all the premium cards, including some of these, I think the more useful ones, I assume, are the main characters. And so the one disadvantage of this over buying packs is you don't get foils. So maybe that's the reason you buy packs over this. Anyway, I'm probably going to read through every single one of these cards because I'm really excited to see how it all works. Probably read the rulebook too. I've read a version of this. And that's it for the starter deck. The next thing, so I do have a couple of other starter decks that I got to hopefully play against each other, assuming my wife does want to learn how to play this game. So I got both starter decks from the Black Rider set, both starter decks from the Two Tower set. These were just some of the cheapest ones I could find on Hills Wholesale Gaming. What I do know about the game is that there was a series of 9 main sets plus 1 supplemental set that called the movie block. So basically 3 sets based on the Fellowship of the Ring, the first movie, 3 sets based on the Two Towers, the second movie, and 3 sets based on The Return of the King, the third movie. And then there was a set called Reflections. Then they basically re-released a lot of the cards from those movies. Sorry, not re-released. They made new cards, but there were sets called Shadows, Black Rider, Bloodlines, Hunters, a few others that were towards the end of the era of before this game went defunct. I think it went defunct in 2007 when Decipher, the company, lost the license for the games. And so that's kind of like the second big block of the game, kind of like a reboot of some of the mechanics. And so I've heard that you can mix and match cards from the different blocks reasonably well, but not completely. But this might be a better one to start playing with. And I'm curious to see how the gameplay when you do these 2 decks versus these 2 decks, the older era, compare with each other. So that's why I got those. All right, I'll put those aside for now. Next thing I wanted to open was this promo set. So this was the very last set they created. And a few of these sets were basically promo sets where it was just this 40 fixed cards. You get the exact same cards no matter which box you buy. It's 40 promo cards and they are all foil. This wasn't super expensive. I got this box for $30, which seemed like a really good deal considering some of the cards in it sell on eBay. So one sells for $20 or $15. So more than the value's worth. Particularly good deal again because it was Hills Wholesale Gaming from where I got these. This and the other box I'm going to show, which will be a surprise at the end, were from Potomac Distribution Company. Both have really good prices, especially for these dead card games. So this is when Decipher lost license. The very last set they created was kind of like a goodbye. You know, Age's End, the end of this age of Middle-earth. It has this little booklet in here. I already saw this part with the poem and a list of cards. I have not yet opened these cards, so I'm going to open them now, which is super exciting. They're all foil, so I'm excited to see how the foils look. Foils work differently in different sets, but for the most of the sets are just randomly inserted 1 in every 6 packs, I think, and could replace any card. So theoretically, any card could be a foil, just like reverse foils in Pokemon. But these are promo foils, so I think these are unique cards that were only ever in foil. There are many different versions of the One Ring. This is kind of a stylized card that looks different, because I think every deck needs one of these. Foil Gimli. We probably won't go through all of these because no idea if anyone's interested in this, and I'm going to take my sweet time looking at these pictures and reading the cards once I better understand the rules. Legolas. But I thought this was a great thing to buy because, again, $30 card value was it worth theoretically more than that, and I think it just has a ton of the main characters and their weapons and things like that, like one of every main character. All right, I'll put that aside also for now. So next thing I wanted to show was this booster box that I got. This was from Potomac Distribution Company, and I got a deal on this because the box is damaged, as you can see. It's bent over here, it is bent over there, bent over here, and so normally most other websites, including eBay that I saw, this set, Mount Doom, a booster box of this was going for about $170, $180. Potomac had this for about $130 or $140, and the damaged one was $80-something. So I got the damaged one. They said they estimate 6 packs are damaged based on this, but potentially none of them are damaged, potentially more damaged. I'm willing to take a risk because I'm actually mostly doing this for fun. Normally I would not buy sealed product with a safe, unless I was planning to keep it sealed, either as a display piece or to invest in it. In this case, I'm doing it purely for fun to open it, just to have that experience of getting into a new game and seeing cards for the first time. And this seemed like a cool set. It's from the movie block, right? The first 9 or 10 sets. Mount Doom was the last one. So this is the last set from the 3 sets that were based on Return of the King. And I'm rewatching the movies. I'm still on the first one, but it's so fun to rewatch them. All right, so first thing I'm curious to see is if any of the packs are damaged, and if so, how damaged they are. So I'm actually going to just take all of them out. I suspect the ones at the bottom might have gotten the worst of it, if they got any of it. But no, it seems totally fine. The cards are shoved down at the bottom. I guess we won't truly know until we open this, open all these packs, which I'm going to do over time. I like to open up just for fun, like 1 or 2 packs a day. Or if I'm in a bad mood, maybe I'll open up a few more than that to cheer myself up. I've been doing that with really cheap packs from other games, like Gun Jedi. And it's great, especially when each pack comes out to like less than, in this case, less than $3. For Young Jedi, it's like $1. These packs look totally fine to me. Just the box is out of shape, but it seems like the cards in the pack got pushed in such a way that they didn't get severely damaged. So again, won't know until I actually open them. And we're going to start by opening 1 pack. Mount Doom. All right, and I have no idea which order the cards come in, so we're going to look at all of them. Uncommon. Also, 5th level. I probably won't know how to pronounce most of these names. Sirthungol Watchman. Uncommon. A version of Arwen. Part of what's cool about this game, as opposed to the Star Wars CCG, is they had the main characters of many different rarities. So I assume this uncommon version of Arwen is worse than one of the rare versions of her. There are probably common versions as well, but it's cool that you just get to see so many main characters instead of a lot of random side characters like you do in the Star Wars CCG. And I think this is our rare. Yes. So 10R, it's a 10 set, it's a rare card. Gollum. And his subtitle, because there are different versions, right? So this is Arwen, Echo of Luthien, and this is Gollum, Mad Thing. Mad Thing. I don't know the values of any of these, I'll look them up. And oh, it seems like we got super lucky and got a foil. Foil comes 1 in every 6 packs on average. And super lucky because this is a rare foil. So who knows, this could be worth a lot. Probably not, because this set as a whole is not super valuable. The foil on this card is nice, but a little bit lame, just like this like silvery background. And this is one of the Nazgul, I guess, Thrall of the One. And then I think the rest of these are all going to be commons, so I'll go through them relatively quickly. Each of the cards, what I've learned, has a different culture, which is kind of like a group. They give each other benefits. So the different cultures are like Gandalf has his own culture, but there's like the Gondor and Mordor and all these other ones. And that's it. All right, that is awesome. I'm going to look at these cards more. I'm going to look at these packs more. The last thing I want to show, which I've been saving as a bit of a surprise, is something that I did buy, at least for now, purely to keep sealed, which is a box of Reflections. So this set was the 9th set, I think came right before Mount Doom. It was meant to sort of be like a highlight set of the previous ones. So this only has 24 packs in here. Each pack is 18 cards, and 16 out of the 18 are just reprints from the first 6 sets. So nothing super exciting, but then it has 2 cards that you can only get from Reflections. The entire Reflections set had 54, 56 cards. They're all foil, and about half of them are like rare plus, essentially ultra rare foils, in which you get, I think, about 10 per box. I love how this box looks, because it has actual cards on it. And I also love this for another reason, which I'll show, which is that Decipher, the company that made this game, did a reflection set for many of the other games. So you might know the Star Wars CCG had Reflections 1 and 2 and 3. Reflections 3 is the most valuable set in the entire game, at least of the English sets. And so I have a booster box of Reflections 3. Right now, this probably goes for about $5,000, I think the most recent sale. This is sealed, and I want to keep it sealed because I liked how to look at it, and I'm just keeping it sealed. And I bought this acrylic box from someone on Etsy for this. And then when I got into the Young Jedi CCG, also by Decipher, based on episode 1 of Star Wars, Young Jedi has this box, Reflections. Their own reflection set that also is a reprint of previous sets, plus 1 special foil card per pack. And I got an acrylic box to fit this one as well. And I love how these look, just like so many different characters around it. So I figured I have a Reflections box from Star Wars TCG, the most valuable Reflection set at least. This by far the most valuable set of Young Jedi. Most sets are basically worthless, and this one is worth a lot. And then Lord of the Rings as well. So I'm looking to get a custom acrylic box from Etsy, the same person on Etsy for this, to sort of add it to that Reflections collection. So why am I doing this, right? Why am I buying something to keep it sealed and so forth? In general, I do like having some sealed product if it looks really nice on display, especially if it's in an acrylic box, so I don't have to worry about damaging it or unsealing it accidentally. So I want to keep it, and I do think part of the reason I got back into this game for the first time is that I think the Lord of the Rings has a lot of potential. I'm going to flip through these while we're talking, so you can see these are the Age's End promo cards. Might as well flip through all these nice looking foil cards. And it's a bummer the foil doesn't come out as nicely on camera, but it looks so cool in person. Decipher just makes beautiful cards. So why Lord of the Rings TCG from an investment perspective? These are some ideas I got from a video that Aristocards made about 6 months ago. This game has already gone up a lot in value, is my understanding. I don't quite know how much because I've not been following prices, but now is probably not a good time to buy, objectively speaking, based on the price history. But the reason I still think it has room to go up is what Aristocard said. First of all, Amazon is making a Middle-earth, or I think Lord of the Rings specifically, TV show that's coming out in 1 or 2 years. So that will renew interest in Lord of the Rings. Basically have not been new movies since the Hobbit movies came out. Second is that Magic the Gathering is creating more sets based on other IP, which is its own issue that I won't get into. Not a huge fan of the idea, but they are making a Middle-earth themed set. I think it's going to be in 2023. So again, that might renew interest. And this was the original TCG for Lord of the Rings. There was an older one called Middle-earth CCG, which I know some people like. Not a huge fan of because the drawings just don't appeal to me, and these are actual pictures from the movie. So if you're fans of the original movies, if you grew up with them, like I did, love this, Balrog. If you grew up with these movies like I did, I think this would be your go-to card game. And so a set like Reflections that is relatively hard to find and expensive, I think would appreciate. And just like with any TCG or CCG, sealed product is a lot more valuable than what's actually inside of it. So I'm going to destroy the value of this Mount Doom box by opening it, but that's fine because it'll be for fun. And Reflections, I'll keep sealed. I think that is it for all of my thoughts. If you have any questions or any comments, please let me know. I love connecting with other people. I've already connected with one person who's been watching these videos who's part of the Lord of the Rings group on Facebook who recognized me, which is so fun. I love to do sales and trades and all sorts of things. And so if you're into the Lord of the Rings TCG or any of these other more obscure Decipher products, such as Wars TCG or Young Jedi, let me know. And we'll get through the rest of these cards. This is so cool. 40 different promo cards. Most of them are main characters of some sort. The Witch King. And some of these ring wraiths whose names I can't pronounce. We'll end with the One Ring. Oh, one last thought. When we were rewatching The Fellowship of the Ring last night, my wife was watching with me, in the part where Gandalf comes back to Frodo and says, is it secret? Is it safe? About the ring. He originally said to keep it secret, keep it safe in an envelope. My wife was like, wait, what did he say? I missed it. I was like, don't miss it because that's one of the most memorable lines in the movie. She's like, he said, keep it sealed, keep it safe. And the line is, no, keep it secret, keep it safe. But that's a good mantra for collectors of sealed product. Keep it sealed, keep it safe in an acrylic box. Don't let anything happen to it. Never open it. All right.